everyone. So we're going to pick up in this lesson where we left off in the last lesson, and we're going to talk about the determinants of demand. You'll remember that we talked about in the prior lesson that demand is not going to be influenced by price. Only quantity demanded is going to be influenced by price. So now we're going to talk about those other factors that cause demand to increase or decrease if the price hasn't changed. So make sure you're in your interactive notebook and you're following along. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. We're on page 4 of your interactive notebook. And again, we're talking about the determinants of demand. The way that we're going to break down this sheet is you can see the 3 different columns. We're going to list out what the determinant is. We're going to talk about what does that mean, and then we're going to give an example. So those are the 3 things you're going to be filling in for each determinant. Then we'll also talk about this turtle named Ertl, and we'll explain the graph in the lower right-hand corner. But let's first start off with our essential question. What are the determinants that cause change in demand? Now, we have 6 different types of determinants. And what we mean by a determinant is, think about a scenario where maybe there's been a rush to go buy a good or a service. The price didn't change, but people are more motivated or less motivated to go out and purchase it. That's what we call these determinants. There are 6 different categories that are going to motivate people to purchase more or less of a good, regardless of the price. Mrs. Bench and I came up with this acronym, so I know it's horrible, but it's one way to remember it, so we'll refer to it. Yes, I know there are 2 R's. We'll talk about why there are 2 R's in a minute. So we use, with demand, we talk about timer. Those are our demand determinants. T stands for a change in tastes and preferences. I stands for a change in income. M is a change in the members of population. E is a change in consumer expectations. The first R is for a change in related goods known as complementary goods. And then the second R is a change in related goods known as substitute goods. So let's go through. Like I said, you'll have 3 different categories to fill in. The first thing is in the top right-hand corner, your determinant is tastes and preferences, and you would be up by the T. So what does this mean? If you have a change in tastes and preferences, that means think about if something is more or less popular. If something's more popular, there's going to be an increase in demand. Think about, usually this would be like a celebrity endorsement. If something has come in as a fad, sometimes we call this fads or trends. So if something is more or less popular, it's going to cause an increase or decrease in demand. If something is less popular, there's probably going to be a decrease in demand. So a popular one could be like if a study came out tomorrow that said coffee gives you cancer. They're always coming out with that one. That would be a fad that says, oh, coffee's going to give me cancer. I don't want to buy anymore. It isn't, you're not buying less of it because the price went up. It's because you think it's going to have, detrimental effects to your health. So you're not buying it. So it's less popular. It goes out of demand. Another example could be way back in the day when Dr. Pro was young, we had these things called CDs or compact discs. And yes, I had one of these that's pictured here. This is called a Discman. You walked around with this big old thing. You could only listen to about 20 to 25 songs at a time. And then you had to take the CD out, very similar to a DVD, pop another one in, and then listen. I know, it's the Stone Age. I'm sure none of you have ever seen a Discman because they are not popular anymore. There is almost no demand for a Discman these days. But you probably have seen these icons before. An iTunes gift card and the Apple icon for iTunes, or if you have a Google Android, whatever the Android equivalent is, because I don't have one. But you have seen those because those are very popular to stream music on Spotify, on Pandora, to take it from Apple Music. All of that is very popular. So right now, it's not because they're, Apple Music is real cheap or because the Discman is super expensive. It's just because it's not popular anymore. So that caused a change in demand. Our next one, your next determinant, you'll be next to the I, stands for a change in consumer income. Think about income is how much you're paid to do a job. Other words could be salary, your wages, again, income. So what does that mean? If you have an increase in your income, that means you're going to have increase in demand for everything under the sun because you're being paid more. So now you have more in your pocket, you can go out and buy more stuff. The flip side of that is if you have a decrease in your income, you get laid off, you get a demotion, whatever, you're making less money, so you have less demand for different goods. An example of this could be, let's say at your job, you get a bonus in your paycheck, maybe at Christmas time, you get a Christmas bonus. Now you have more money to go out and buy anything under the sun. So anytime they talk about consumer income changing, it's going to have an effect on what you can go out and purchase. M stands for a change in the members of population. What does that mean? So that means if there are more members, we're going to have an increase in demand on various goods. So more, literally meaning more people. If we have less members or less people, we're going to have a decrease in demand. A great example for that, and why I show, I'm not expecting, but why I show the little stork, a great example for that would be like if there's a record number of births one year. Think about all the different types of goods that are going to be in demand, all the types of goods that you're going to need for a baby, car seats, strollers, diapers, wipes, all of those things. If there's a record number of new babies, the demand for those goods is going to increase. Again, it's not the fact that the price changed, they're not on sale, it's the fact that there are a ton of babies. And with a ton of babies come a lot of demands for different goods that go with babies. The next one is E for consumer expectations. This one is a little bit weird. The last three are a little bit weird because we are going to roll in the idea of price. But we have to think about price isn't currently changing, it's changing later. So consumer expectations, we're expecting the price to do something. If I expect the price of a good or a service to cost more in the future, my current demand is going to increase. And the flip side, if I expect it to cost less in the future, I'm going to buy less now, or I'm going to demand less now. Another great example would be like sales prices, like Black Friday. Anytime there's going to be a sale, you're going to say, hey, I'm not going to buy it now. I'm going to wait till it's on sale. Around Christmas time, again, Black Friday is a huge one. No, I'm not going to go out and buy a brand new TV when I know it's going to be cheaper next week. My current demand is going to decrease. I'll wait and then buy it on Black Friday. So this is when, again, you'll look for things that mean like looking at the future, expecting something. Something's going to happen to the price. So it motivates your current demand, not your future demand, your current demand. The first are complementary goods. What does this one mean? Think about complement, something that complements someone else. Complementary are going to be goods that go together or work together. They complement each other. So a couple examples, as you can see on the screen, chips and salsa, milk and cookies, peanut butter and jelly, all of those would be great examples. So if the price of the complementary good increases, the demand for the other good is going to decrease. And again, vice versa, if the price of the complementary good decreases, then the demand for the other good increases. So for example, if you go and you want to buy, chips and salsa, you'll normally see that they're kind of usually run on sale together. Because again, if you go into the store and you want chips and salsa and you see that the salsa is super expensive, I don't think I need chips this week, and I don't need the salsa either. So they work together. So again, chips and salsa, milk and cookies, peanut butter and jelly, baseballs and baseball bats, golf clubs and golf balls, a car and gas. All of those work together. So they're going to be influenced together. Lastly, we have our second R, or substitute goods. So the price of a substitute good, once it increases, if it increases, the demand for the other good is going to increase. And vice versa, if the price of a substitute good decreases, we're going to have a decrease in demand for the other good. So what's a substitute good? Substitute goods could be, name brand versus generic. A substitute good is one that you substitute in the place of another, or in place of another. So again, name brand versus generic. Or it could be, as you can see on here, like Coke versus Pepsi, so rival brands. So you want to think about something that you could replace with it. If you go in and see that Coke is less expensive than Pepsi, your demand for Pepsi is going to decrease. Now, yes, there are some people that are out there like, no, I can only drink Coke, or I can only drink Pepsi. Take them out of the mix. We don't care about them. We're looking at just the common person. Again, it's going to be motivated by price. All right. You could also use an example of like fast food industries, pizza versus tacos. They're both kind of like fast foods. So substitute goods, again, are going to be goods that can substitute one for the other. Lastly, we want to look at what this looks like on the demand curve. You remember when we talked about a movement along the curve with a change in demand, we literally just moved along the curve. For all of the different scenarios we just talked about, if there's an increase in demand, the curve is going to literally shift. It's going to move and create a whole new curve. So anytime we have an increase in demand, the curve is going to shift right from the original curve. So you can see here, my original curve is that black line. My new curve is the green line. Something happened to cause an increase in demand, and now the prices are still the same, but we are now demanding more. Vice versa, there's something that causes a decrease in demand. We're going to shift to the left. So now you can see we went from my black line to the red line. And so a decrease in demand is going to cause our curve to shift to the left. A great way to remember this is my good friend, Ertl the turtle. Ertl stands for increase right, decrease left. That's how I remember which way to shift the demand curve. This video is going to be your friend for your assignment for today. I know this is a lot of information, so you might want to watch it again. It will also be posted on Schoology as well as the Ed Puzzle. Feel free to go back, watch it multiple times if you need it for help while you're completing your assignments. Next time, we'll talk about supply. Thanks for tuning in.